Let's look at America today. Let's look at our United States of America as we move forward to protect our freedom. Our flag waves proudly at the head of columns of marching men, young men from our cities, our factories, our mills, our shops, men from the fields, men from the farms. Back of these men, reinforcing our front lines of defense, are millions of other men and women in every walk of life. They too are on the march, an irresistible march of democracy. And it is the land that makes men free. From the land must come the foods to win the fight for freedom. Agriculture moves forward to take its place in national defense as Secretary Wickard sends out a call to the farms and ranches of America. There are the needs of defense to be met, needs for additional supplies of many essential foods. So the call is for more of the things we need. And from all sections of the land comes the same response. There shall be more. Farmers today are stepping up their production of vital foods. The need and the urgency is for more dairy products, more chickens and eggs, more of the oil-producing crops, peanuts and soybeans, more pork. Farmers know that food reserves may become as valuable a weapon as munitions themselves. In war-torn nations, the knowledge of our vast resources will be in the minds of millions of people, will give strength and meaning to the symbol of democracy. The question may finally become, who can feed the world, the democracies or the dictatorships? As Secretary Wickard has said, food may not only win the war, it also may decide the peace. But for most farmers, extra production can begin only with extra money. To meet this need of responsible farmers everywhere stands their own production credit system ready to serve them, built on the strong foundation of sound credit. This cooperative credit system is now helping farmers meet defense needs on a sound basis. Each production credit association is a local farmers cooperative. Each member can get friendly help in mapping out his financial program. He can utilize the most efficient production methods because he can plan in advance. He becomes a better businessman as well as a better farmer. Let us visit one such American farmer, call upon him on his farm, become better acquainted with him and with his work and his family and plans. Martin Paulson of Jasper County, Iowa. Here on his Corn Belt farm of 200 acres, he raises corn, hay, and oats. He feeds hogs, he milks cows. He and his wife have reared 3 sons and 4 daughters. The boys help their father in the work of the farm, in the fields, the hayloft. The girls help their mother in that complex job of maintaining a good home for a good family. When Mrs. Paulson learned that more eggs would be needed for defense, she bought more than her usual number of baby chicks. She also has her garden from which she puts up vegetables to build sturdy, healthy children. Martin Paulson decided that a part of his defense effort would be more hogs. To buy the brood sows, he needed money. So he went to the organization of which he is a member, where he has consolidated his debts, where he obtains all his short-term credit, his Production Credit Association. The loan he received was similar to thousands of others that have been made, except for one thing. As the president of his association informed him, it marked a memorable milestone in production credit history. Mr. Paulson's brood sow loan included the $2 billionth loan to farmers and stockmen by this cooperative credit system. So Martin Paulson, modest farmer, found himself an honored guest of his own local association. There were also guests from distant states, representatives of other production credit associations. And as for the $2 billionth itself, Martin Paulson had a check drawn for that single dollar to be auctioned off. The proceeds, it was announced, were to go to a worthy cause. The bidding was started off. From every corner of the hall, hands went up. Someone started it at $10, $15. The Pacific Northwest was heard from, $20. A cotton grower from the South, $25. Back and forth, $30, $40, $60, $75. Sold to the gentleman from Connecticut, a dairyman and tobacco grower, for $80. And the cause to which it went, the $80 was added to the swelling funds of the United Service Organizations. $80 added to give the youth of our land, now in Army training camps, the opportunities of wholesome recreation. This national rally of farmers simply reflects the wholehearted way in which American farmers are swinging into the national defense job. Throughout the nation, men and women are stepping up the production of food for defense. Farmers move forward to increase dairy production by increasing feeding. They are feeding more grains and concentrates the year round to step up the flow of milk. They are keeping and buying heifer calves. Milk from the areas of concentrated production is going into plants for products which can be shipped most easily to the Army, the Navy, and to our friends across the seas. There's a steady stream of milk to the cheese plants. Milk is flowing into creameries to be evaporated and canned. Milk is likewise going in increased volume to processing plants for manufacture into dry milk, a concentrated food for both livestock and human consumption. Baby chicks by the thousands are being rushed from the hatcheries, examined, counted, packed, and mailed to farmers and farm wives the country over. Production of eggs must go up, and it does, and in many plants, women are breaking eggs, breaking them literally by the millions, also to be powdered for easy shipment to Britain and her allies. Brood sows that under other circumstances would be moved from crowded pens and sold for pork now go not to the stockyards, but to neighboring farms. Corn is coming out of the cribs, out of the ever-normal granary to meet the emergency. Extra feed is putting on more pounds per hog. Besides increasing dairy products, poultry, and pork, farmers are maintaining their production of other important crops, dry beans, for example, and vegetable crops for canning, all necessary in defense. A new crop in Texas is castor bean seed, for the time when we may have to produce our own castor oil used to lubricate high-speed engines. Food, food, and more food is coming from the length and breadth of the land. Food that is needed to build and maintain our own well-being, and food that is sorely needed by the oppressed peoples abroad. Farmers everywhere are growing the food to build for freedom. Many of these farmers also have sons who have taken their place in our armies, and much of the food farmers are producing is going to these same boys in the camps, going to nourish and maintain the strong bodies that are the heritage of health and independence. There are vast agricultural activities which we see as we look at America today, as we look at the United States of America. In every corner of our vast nation, the will and the force of the American farmer and stockman are set to answer the call to action voiced by the Secretary of Agriculture, and backing them is the cooperative production credit system, soundly financing the farmer's everyday needs, financing food for freedom. American agriculture rises to meet the need of national crisis.